shot of the movie.
It's taken filmmaker John Irwin 7 years to bring this more than 50-year-old story to screen.
All right, 3 golf, take 1, Mark.
This project has taken many twists and turns, longest I've ever worked on a movie. My hope is people enjoy the movie, and we want to make you laugh and cry, but there really is a movement behind this movie.
The Jesus movement began on the West Coast and spread in an historic Christian revival that saw young people, hippies, turning to God.
The drugs, it's a quest.
For what?
For God. How can you not see that? There is an entire generation right now searching for God.
That real-life revival unfolding here in Southern California in the 1970s is what Time magazine called the Jesus Revolution. Just 4 years earlier, the front page of the very same magazine was asking this question: is God dead? John, how do we go from "Is God dead" to 4 years later, Jesus Revolution on the cover of Time?
Yeah, I bought this Time magazine, Jesus Revolution, 7 years ago on eBay, and read this article, and then I bought this one as well, Is God Dead? First cover of Time without a picture. And that was my very question of like, what happened in between these two magazines? You have this very bleak statement, and then this sort of psychedelic Jesus, and something was happening so undeniable in American society that Time magazine had to give it credit with a cover story, as did Life magazine, Look magazine. Then I began to study it, and I wanted to meet people that lived it, and so that was the beginning of my relationship with Greg Laurie.
Pastor Greg Laurie leads one of the largest churches in the country.
I just wanted to say,
His faith and love story begin inside the Jesus movement.
People know me as an older guy, and it's interesting for them to be introduced to us when we were young. It's our story, but it's like I'm watching another story, but it's a story of redemption. And we're sort of, I think, representing a generation of young people that were searching.
there's this church, it's called Calvary Chapel. And we say we're looking for truth. What if this is true? Because everything that we've been trying is not working for me.
I was aware of how powerful it was for me. It was real, it was life-changing, it was overnight, it was darkness to light. But, and I've seen it played out in others' lives as they've had encounters with Christ, but I never thought our story, especially my story, would be told in such a beautiful way.
I just can't be let down again. What I have felt in there, I haven't. What if it's good for a minute and then it's gone? What then?
We can find out together.
Joe Courtney plays Greg. Anna Grace Barlow plays Kathy. And The Chosen's Jonathan Rumi rounds out the cast.
I play Lonnie Frisbee. Lonnie was a powerful witness to the charismatic gifts of the Holy Spirit working in his generation.
Rebels against old-fashioned authority.
I think these kids need help.
What they need is a bath.
You're passing judgment on people you know nothing about. Maybe that's why your church is so empty.
When God walks in here, brings me a hippie, I'll ask him what it's all about, because I do not understand.
His house has a very good vibe.
What do you think it is about your characters who are real-life people who help to give birth to what happens in our country during this time?
The culture was in a moment of like fraught need. You know, I think that's kind of what primes a revival is this kind of like lost, sheep. The need, the desire to like reground yourself. And there's no grounding that's better than, the cornerstone of Christ.
I think as humans, we're hardwired for a couple of things. One of those is community, only second to God. Relationship with God and community with each other. And when those two things seem to be compromised in society en masse, the Spirit starts to rebel against that and try to figure out how to put that back in its right order. And so you have, I think, these revivals. And I think you see it now. It's what's going on in Kentucky.
I want to piggyback on that because I can't stop thinking about Damar Hamlin
going down on the field a few weeks ago, and the gut reaction was to take a knee and pray on national television. I was like, I haven't seen anything like this in years. When they say we're primed for it, it's sort of like a buzz phrase that I've been hearing around this movie. I think that's true.
Our country is a dark and divided place. But in that tent, there's hope and unity and miracles that I can't even explain.
Kevin, I've heard filmmakers say that getting a movie made is a miracle. In working on this as one of the producers, where would you say you saw miracles?
There's moments of miracles whenever you make a film. I mean, obviously the entire process, but this one had miracle after miracle where we really sensed and felt God's presence throughout the entire process.
And the sun, everything's perfect.
Including how actor Kelsey Grammer signed on for the lead role of Calvary Chapel pastor Chuck Smith.
I was having a sort of a late night, and I sat in my living room, and I was thinking, geez, I want to do something that actually has some value beyond just the fact that I'm doing another role or something that I enjoy playing. And the very next morning, this script was delivered to my house.
If you feel like you're an outcast, then join us here.
Efrem Graham, CBN News, Los Angeles.
Misunderstood and judged.